All right, in the continuing saga here that we do about the Jews of the Balkan countries, we spoke a little bit about the Jews from Izmir. We haven't spoken about Jews from Istanbul, a place like this, yet. But today we're going to speak about the Jews from Greece. A very interesting community. And the Greek Jewish community is one of the most ancient communities, or was one of the most ancient communities in the world. That community, the Jews established the community during the Hellenistic era. So that we're going way back. There are always Jews there. We'll see later on what difference does it make how old those communities are. During the ruling of the Byzantine, Jews suffered over there tremendously from decrees from the church and so on and so forth. It was really bad. It was really bad. Besides few incidents, the Greek Orthodox Church is not known for its great love to Jews. The Byzantine also were not known for the great love to Jews. However, once the Ottomans, the Osmans, the Turks, took over the area, which started around the 1500s, brought tremendous prosperity to the Jewish community there, and many Jews that migrated from Spain found a place to settle in Greece. Some did in Athens. Most of them, there were other kihilot, other communities as well, but most of them settled either in Athens, but most in Saloniki, which at the time was a part of Turkey. What they called the Megurashim, those who were expelled from Spain, those refugees who were expelled from Spain, became the most dominant group among the Jews there, and basically kind of took over, to most part, with traditions and so on and so forth, took over the Jewish lifestyle in Greece. The traditions, you see the tremendous change and shift in traditions in those cities, in the urban areas. Besides few places, like a famous example is Yanina. Yanina is a city in Greece that has a very strong Roman community, and until today, there are those Roman Jews. Again, I encourage all of you to go. If you're in Manhattan, instead of seeing the Museum of Smelly History, you should go and see the Yanina Shul in the Lower East Side. They have their own Sidurim. It will be very nice of you if you actually go there, if you can buy their own Sidur. Why? For two reasons. Reason number one, you help the community. It's a small shul, very few people dedicate themselves to preservation of that. That's first of all. Second, you should be aware, because there are other Jews besides what you know today, and the traditions they go way back. The traditions of the Roman Jews go way back, and it's a part of your culture. And the worst thing you can do is to become ignorant about your own people and your own culture. In the islands of Greece, because around Greece there are thousands of islands. In the islands and some other places, you could find a more secluded Roman youth communities with their own traditions rather than the city. And they spoke, by the way, a very different dialect of Greek, and it's called Yevanitika. So there was a special dialect that those Jews speak. They're not Sephardim. Those people are not Sephardic. They're not Ashkenazim. They are Roman Jews. Very ancient. In Turkey, the same places. Well, many Roman Jews, but they were overwhelmed by the newcomers that came from Spain, A, because of the numbers, B, because of the magnitude of the culture in which they brought with them. Again, I could only cry and reminiscent on and fantasize that we will have today such a culture like those people brought with them from Spain. It was extremely powerful, very dominant. They took over. The Yevanitika, which is also known as Chromoneutit or Greek Jewish or Jewish Greek, was the dialect of those Romanute Jews that is, and again, those things are not by theory, it is documented that Jews lived there and those people preserved, therefore there was a lot of those minhagim and the language from that Hellenistic area. And there are, of course, like anything else, there always are elements of Hebrew combined with the language in which they speak, which was similar to the Christians, Greek Christians who spoke Greek. They had their own font for the Jewish alphabet, and they used mainly to write text both in Greek and in Hebrew. They used that special alphabet. The source of this name, Ioannit, right, comes from the Greek world and comes from the term Yavan, which is a biblical term, Yavan, which was done in many times, was done in the Eastern cultures. I mean, Eastern Mediterranean culture, and it is very close to the Sanskrit word Yavana. So you see that a lot of those things actually came from India. When they said that, Yavana, which is close to Sanskrit, also came. When anytime they use that, Yavana means the whole area of what we call Greece today, right, Michael? And the same thing as we refer to the Greek people themselves. Slowly, that Romanute dialect had vanished from this world, mainly around the 19th century. We don't do enough to preserve what we have. We let other foreign elements to take over our culture, and it's gone. Even today in Hebrew, in modern Israeli Hebrew, there are many words that are not Hebrew at all. Since English became more dominant as an international language, you find many usages of English as slang in Hebrew as well. Maybe one day we should do a whole segment on Hebrew as the holy language, but that's a different yan altogether. So therefore, that's one of them. One of the reasons. Another reason was intermarriage, and intermarriage within non-Jews, and intermingling with the Sephardic communities of Greek Jews that spoke mainly Ladino. So when they married each other, they lost their language. Another one is the adaptation of or accepting upon themselves to speak foreign languages on more regular basis, like, for example, Greek, Turkish, Bulgarian, as a part of assimilation. There's no solid Torah institutions that would, among other things, in charge of preserving what you have. You would not learn about those things, and those things disappear, and before you know, it's all gone from the world. It is a language that exists in a knowledge base, but it's basically dead. It's like a picture of a person on a wall rather than having the picture in front of you. A lot of the Romanute Jews migrated either to Israel or to the United States, which altogether caused what we call Yavanitika to be abandoned and adopting English and Hebrew as their primary languages. Another reason is Zionistic ideology that always preferred the usage of Hebrew as a unified language for all the Jews, which that, even though I am not a Zionist, I think is a much better option to all the Jews to speak Hebrew than to Jews to speak German/Yiddish, which is a language of Amalek altogether. And kill me if I can understand why would anybody, after the horrible Holocaust caused by German speakers, anybody would even dare to speak anything that sounds like German through his mouth today? It's beyond me. And people preserve Yiddish like it's some kind of a it's a German language. It's a German dialect. I don't want a Jew to speak German anymore after what they did to us. Speak Hebrew. Much better off. I will abandon all the Jewish languages, including Ladino and whatever is out there, for all the Jews to speak Hebrew. Ultimately, we are Jews, and we also should speak Hebrew, not languages that always remind us of the galut of exile. More than that, what bothers me is the usage of languages like Yiddish, etc., in Israel by people who should know better, because I think it's a great sin bringing exile and exile traditions to Israel. If you live in the land of Israel, you should not practice anything that is practiced as an exile Jewish tradition. And that's why it bothers me more to hear Yiddish in the land of Israel. And again, I'm not a Zionist. Another thing that really put the lid over that language, the Roman youth, of course, was the Holocaust. That was a death blow to many communities, but in particular the Greek Jewish community. As we already spoke before about this very important city that was in Greece, is the city of Saloniki, or Salonikia. Saloniki was, at the time, the second biggest port in Europe, and over 80,000 Jews lived there at the eve of World War II. 80,000 Jews. Most of them died. Most of them died. The percentage of extermination of Saloniki Jews was over 98%. A lot of it thanks to the British and all the other buffoons who had a quota on Jews entering Israel. The Jews are not entitled to have their own land. So does the world thinks. And if you look at the world today, 90% of the problems in the world today is due to the fact that the British and the French had messed around and divided, and colonialism of the French, of the British along the globe. But Jews were prevented from entering. The British did not care about the Jews even after the war. They would not let them in. It's not like they didn't see the camps. They saw the camps. But I'll tell you more than that. And any British that thinks that I'm wrong can come here and talk to me there and tell me that face to face. If it was up to the British, they wouldn't care if all the Jews would have been erased. So for that matter, they're not so far off from the Nazis themselves. But I don't have a problem saying that. After all, it was Chamberlain who signed the treaty with Hitler. And if Britain wasn't bombarded, I don't think they would do anything. They will be okay with all the Jews gone. They're a bunch of Arab lovers. They didn't care about the Jews. So today there are maybe from almost like 100,000 Jews, there used to be. Today maybe there are 5,000, 6,000 Jews in Greece altogether. That's 70 years down the road. A lot of them also were intermarried. So that's the introduction so far for the Greek community. Next time we're going to talk about the history until the Second Temple, and then from the Second Temple and all. There's a lot to talk about. And again, as I said to you, unfortunately, it's not being addressed in any Jewish textbook, in history textbooks, not in secular Israeli schools, or secular Israeli, if there is such thing, a secular, in any Jewish format, yeshivot, amidot, doesn't make a difference. They just don't learn that. Of course, if it was up to them, there was no Sephardic Jew who was burned down in Auschwitz-Birkenau, right? There were only Ashkenazim that died. But we are here as a weapon of mass instruction to actually inform you of things that you didn't know. So until next time, boys and girls, please behave and start looking into it yourself. Have a great day.